All right, let's get started. Waiting for a few more folks to join in, but I think they would be able to view this recording later. Thank you for joining the webinar, the ones who joined. Sorry about the last minute reminder. We just realized there was a slip or miss in sending the reminder for this webinar. Apologize on behalf of my team. But today's webinar, just wanted to start with saying it's not accredited to any CPD credits, but definitely one of the most interesting topics that we could cover, as most of the times it gets missed in all the important topics that we discuss. Could be in regards to accounting management or contact management or client management, etc. But today is going to be a little bit of everything, but things that we have probably missed to notice, or if we have probably not needed or could have been avoided during our daily intervention with uLaw. So topic for today's webinar is the unsung heroes. I'm probably going to bring it to your notice in the next 35-40 minutes. We'll try and discuss as much as possible about the subtopics, that is dashboard, contacts, Quickview, and calendar. So the focus is going to be with these 4 sections in uLaw program. And we're going to talk a little bit about analytics as well, even though some way or the other we all generate documents and reports from the program. There are some very interesting reports that's hidden, and I would like to bring that to limelight in today's session. Okay, so once again, repeating today's topic for the webinar, the unsung heroes, and the subtopics that we're going to be going through would be regarding dashboard, contacts, Quickview, and calendar. We're going to see how these specific sections or titles are put to great use, and that in turn helps efficient management of your business practice, but not only client or their matter, but an overall efficiency that will improvise or help you to manage data better manner. And we're also letting you know that these are some features that are probably more, less frequently used, or not that frequently used rather, but if used often, or if used often, how that will help you get better with using the program in a more effective and an efficient manner. Let's start with dashboard. So we all know that once we log into the uLaw program, our landing page, that's what I call it as, is dashboard. We all land at this specific section of the program that has several widgets or, sub-tabs, maybe, recently modified contacts, could have your upcoming events, could have invoices pending. They're like just tiny little boxes that you would see, in fact. All these boxes are, we refer to as widgets. They're easily customizable from your settings. And what importance do they show to you? What do they bring to your notice? Why is your attention required there, rather? So these are basically all your recent modifications or additions that happens in your program. Could have been, you could have brought a new contact in, you could have added a new contact, or you could have modified a contact. There could be news section, and you would have missed to see some recent news on Ontario Bar Association, Paralegals Association, Criminal Lawyers Association, any of these that you would like to take a look at. And all these upcoming to do are basically flowing in from your calendar. Maybe your calendar could have been synchronized with your existing calendar from your Outlook or Gmail, and you have some events that you've recorded in those calendars, and that relates to a specific client and the matter, whether there's a hearing coming up or whether there's a client meeting coming up. This dashboard indicates that you have a third meeting coming up with Adam Brown on specific date at specific time, which is exactly what you see on the screenshot that is here on the picture on the right side under upcoming to-dos. So easy reminder system of tasks to be done, upcoming to-do list, matters to be docketed, any upcoming events that are shown in your calendar and the respective matter that needs to be docketed once the event is done or the event takes place, and invoices that needs to be raised, where you have some dockets entered in a specific file or a matter, but you have probably postponed or delayed raising an invoice for that docket. And this widget specifically on the top right corner that you see on the screenshot or this picture here shows invoice pending matters. These are the matters that has some dockets in it and invoices are pending. We all try to remember what are some matters or files of some clients of us that we have not yet raised an invoice for. And we try to recollect. Somehow maybe we would have had the notes written on a file, on a physical file, or maybe on the email or on a text message. Somewhere we all have the notes or reminders put in to raise an invoice or to complete a file. But I don't think, or I don't know if that you all use this invoice pending matters widget here to know that this is a matter that has some pending invoice to be raised, and it helps you to get that initialized and completed too quickly and in a faster manner. It not only helps you to do these, but on top of that, one favorite thing of mine is to navigate easily into contacts and matters in a very, in a much faster manner, where all your recently modified contacts or recently modified matters has a contact card in front of the name. It has I'll be definitely walking you through that example when I'm going to be into our program. Maybe another 10 minutes, we'll jump into the program and see how each of these topics that we are discussing today works. So coming back to the point, the recently modified contacts are probably a key place for you to get into the contact right from the dashboard, or get into the matter right from the dashboard with either recently modified contacts or recently modified matters. Moving ahead with contacts, the one right below dashboard on the left-hand side of your screen is contacts. We all know that's where we log in our client information from, but I don't know how many of us use additional details to a file that needs to be recorded. For example, they might be representative, they might be defendant, and I don't know if you are probably physically using their details to be entered on a physical file or on a, maybe on your email, contact somewhere, but not in uLaw. Maybe you're probably missing a very small part of it, where The Contacts tab has several sections, like I would say sub-tabs of Contact, where you would see client, how to add a new client, and there's also add new contact. There are many people who ask me, Gayatri, why is there a client? Why is there a contact? What difference does it make? So I always tell my people, like the clients, or I help a few of them come to me during support hours, etc. Tell them, add new client is very self-explanatory. We're all trying to add new clients there, but add new contact does have a facility to add a client, but also several other groups. So you would see a group where you can categorize various contacts that you would like to keep in your database. Could be something in a relation to additional parties, could be your co-workers, could be your vendors, plaintiff, defendants, different types of groups that you'd like to show under a code form, because uLaw also automates code forms, and these details can permanently be on your database, and whenever there's a change or an update, it automatically reflects on all the documents that you're getting generated, or you're looking to generate rather. So coming back to the point, contacts, creating new clients alone, not a facility under Contacts tab, or doing a conflict check alone is not the functionality that is there in the program under Contacts. There are things beyond that. It's just hidden, like looking at the fee book of a specific client. What do they owe me? What have I invoiced? Is there anything pending from this client? Look at the fee book. You can print an envelope for this file. You can also look at other documents that you can generate, other billing information, other reports that you're looking to create for a specific contact, right? So beyond adding clients, you can add new groups, you can categorize names under these groups, you can repurpose contact information into additional parties under a specific matter, you can repurpose contact information for billing information, which is very, very important. They could be a client to whom you're probably a third-party consultant, and but the bill is sent to the one who outsourced the work to you, and you will have to add them as probably a new group, call it as invoice to or contractors, third-party consultancy, something that you can easily identify. Create them as a group, and then when they hire you, even though the client is added as for the third party that you're doing work, but the one who hired you can be the contractor, and you can be invoicing them. So once you add invoice to as the additional party, you would be able to repurpose the contact information for billing. I would again walk you through when I'm doing the demo. The contact level reports are also easily generated from the document generation of contacts, which I believe gives you high level information about the contact that you're creating in the program. Moving further down, about Quickview, the third division of our Unsung Heroes. I believe many of you are joining in. Want to apologize quickly for the delay in sending the invite or the reminder for webinar today. The topic for today's webinar is Unsung Heroes. We are talking about some features that are hidden, and I want to bring it to the limelight today in this webinar, helping you all navigate into the system even better, and utilizing every single feature that's available out there, and trying to help you manage the program, practice even more efficiently. So today's webinar is not accredited to any CPD hours, but they're very interesting to help you with using the program in an effective manner. I've so far spoken about two subtopics of today's main topic, which is Unsung Heroes. We've seen what a dashboard does, what contacts does apart from adding clients or doing conflict checks. And now we are in the third subtab or third topic, which is Quickview. So we all know Quickview is where you can quickly access a file or a matter in the program. But how faster or how quickly can you reach a file, and what are some things that you can probably take a look at on top of the file before even getting into it, before even getting into matter? What kind of analytical information that I have on the Quickview? So Quickview is definitely the most fastest way to search for a matter-related information. You can enter the file number, you can enter the client's name, first name, just last name, or whatever you can quickly think of, and or the description, anything that if you're looking for a criminal file or a small claims file, if you have probably noted that down on a description, you can search based on that. Before you do all of those, I think the most important of all is to ensure that you're in the right category. If you see on this picture that you see here, the right category is either active files that you're looking for or closed files. Could be something from the past or anything that's archived or all matters. So it's definitely important to categorize the matters as to whether it's active or once the work is done, close them. Or, easiest way, if you don't remember whether it's open or closed, just go ahead and click on all matters, and you'll have all your matters showing up under Quickview, and you can easily look up for the file. So search based on free text and drill down to the matter directly from Quickview, because it pulls up the file, the one that you're looking for, and you can go to the matter directly from Quickview, as there's a tab that says go to matter. So classifying matter is very important. Searching based on free text. Try to remember the text that you've entered, something that might definitely be in your memory at that point in time, and at least the client's name. And, what other things that Quickview does is definitely work in progress reports. So under document generation, there are several reports that you will see, but two main things that I feel is very helpful is invoices pending, or if there's any amounts that you're supposed to be collecting from your client. It shows very clearly the invoice pending matters, which can also be seen from accounts, but alternatively, it's nice to have a Quickview with all those details, which is supposed to be accessed quickly instead of going into client and then the accounts and then but Quickview is just one simple option where you get to see everything that is related to matter in one tab. Okay, and lastly, work in progress reports tells you clearly what is the work that's happening under a matter, whether you have docketed anything, whether you have docketed hours, flat rate, what is the progress. That's why it's called work in progress. And these interesting reports are available only under Quickview. And it's always nice to do some things that are not your mandatory requirements or that are not a part of your compliance, etc. More information is good, and if that more information is going to help you simplify your work process, why not? So work in progress is definitely a very highly recommended report that I would say please try to do a work in progress report at least once in a week to see where you are standing in terms of your files, and you can always judge yourself or see if you want to invoice more, complete at least till whatever you want to do and do an interim billing, so on and so forth. I can kind of talk about it for hours together, but I would say, the key point to note down there is whether you have progressed on your work, whether you need to do something there, raise an interim bill or finalize the invoice, things like that is definitely helpful from the work in progress report. Now, the last one of today's topic is calendar. And definitely, we all know that calendar is something that plays a vital role in our life. Could be personal, official, client-related, non-client-related, could be something for just your office internal work, meeting your auditor, meeting your accountant, or meeting with a bookkeeper or your assistant and you discussing some files. We all know that calendar is the key thing. The previous day, at least before I hit bed, one thing that I do is ensure that I am looking at my calendar. And the calendar is going to give you not only whether you have an appointment at this time, you have a hearing at this time, you have a client meeting at this time, but it is also categorized with a color code. So when it is categorized with a color code, it helps you to see whether it is either this meeting is set up by me or whether this meeting is for me or my coworker or my assistant, etc. So every docket gets calendarized with color code, depending upon whether it's a time docket, non-time docket, whether it's a meeting for you or your coworkers in your office. And there are various views, or you can change it into daily, monthly, weekly view of the calendar. And you can hide time dockets if you don't want to see time dockets. Anyways, you're going to be seeing it inside the Matter, but up to you. Both Matter-related and personal time calendar can be managed, like I said, based on the color code. And you would be able to also synchronize your calendar from either you could have a Google Calendar because you're using Gmail, or you could have an Outlook calendar because you're using your Outlook, or you could have your own calendars where any other calendar can be synchronized with uLaw calendar. You know how to use the settings and synchronize the calendar. But it's very important to have all your calendars synced with the program so that there's a centralized system to look at it and you don't miss out on any of the meetings or anything that's upcoming to do. One step ahead, you also have uLaw has the phone app, and the phone app can be downloaded for either iOS or Android, depending upon the phone that you're using. And it can again be synchronized with your uLaw app calendar, which is very, very helpful on your phone. And on the go, you can check, you can record dockets that goes into the Matter. So it's definitely recommended. If you're not using an app, please try to download a uLaw app and use it. And lastly, but the most important, I don't know how many of you are using this, there are some interesting reports under calendar. If you click on the tiny little drop down beside calendar, there's a pop-up that comes up saying, like how you're seeing on the picture on the right-hand side of the screen here, where there's client summary, there's service summary, there are timesheets and other reports. So timesheet is something that will bring to your notice. If you are a firm with, let's say, a coworker, an assistant, or your firm is starting to grow, you have more people coming in as a partner, like I said, as an associate, as coworkers, you will be able to drill down to the information such as timesheet based on whether what is their number of hours that they've put into a specific file. In fact, specific docket also. If there's one file that multi-users of the program are working, let's say lawyer 1, lawyer 2, assistant 1, assistant 2, this specific feature of timesheet helps you to drill down to the docket level of time spent on a file, and you will be end of the month able to generate a report, end of a month, end of a period that you're looking for, to see what is the revenue that is generated by each of you in the firm. And that is definitely my favorite part of the calendar. And if you are a firm with multi-user, I think if you haven't used it till today, please go and try this feature. And if you need any further help on understanding it, I'll be happy to walk you through, on a separate one-to-one session through a support call. You can always reach out to us on support@uLawPractice.com. That's the best way you can seek help. Alternatively, within the program, if you're logged in, you're lost, you need some help immediately, you can click on help, click on uLaw support, and tell us what is the reason you're trying to reach us and when do you want us to get back to you by like the latest time. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. As of now, I'm going to be taking a quick pause to see if there are any questions, and I'm going to walk you through whatever we have discussed so far, seeing the slides. Let's quickly go into the program and see where exactly you can see all of those that I just discussed. And if you have any friends, if you're already using the program, great. If you have any friends who are interested to know more about us, please do visit our website and ask them to sign up for a free 30-day trial. Alternatively, there's also a refer a friend program that's running. We do give our existing client, if they bring in a new client, about $50 coupon. We do give you some choices between coffee, indigo, chapters, etc. So you can definitely pick one of your choice. But before that, please do bring in your friends, ask them to try out the program, see if they like it, and we'll be happy to grow as a community using this program. And if you're not sure how to help them sign up, again, write to support and we'll be happy to assist you. All right, so quickly moving further, I'm going to be seeing if we have any chat questions here. So nothing yet. I'm probably going to stop for the chat a little later after we are done with the demo. So I'm going to go into the program to see how today's topic, whatever we discussed so far, works. So to start with dashboard, we were talking about how these widgets are appearing here. So some of you could have 5, some of you will have only 4. It depends on what you have, probably designed your dashboard to look like. So I have designed my dashboard to have only 5, of which I don't have anything upcoming to do. I probably haven't recorded, but this can be modified. You can add up to 6 widgets, and this can be modified from settings by clicking on dashboard. Precisely every section that you see on your left-hand side, there will be a settings tab for it under settings, and dashboard is one such item where you will be able to configure the settings according to your preference. Whatever you'd like to have in the first item under first widget, and then whatever you'd like to have on your third item, could be news. I don't have anything yet. Let's say I'm adding Ontario Bar Association, and this is something that you will be able to save it upon completing it or assigning it, and you will be able to see that on the dashboard level. So there are about 6 widgets that you can work on, and once you go into the dashboard, you will be able to see the new widget that you have added, anything that you have deleted, so on and so forth. So right now in front of you, I just added Ontario Bar Association, and until then I had only 5 widgets, but right now I have 6 because I have added News Ontario Bar Association. So again, besides that, what else is dashboard useful for? When we spoke, there were 3 key elements that I was talking about. Is definitely recently modified contacts, modified matters, and any pending matters, invoices, if anything that's pending to be raised in a matter. we all know that upcoming events are coming in from the matters, where if you have recorded any, legal fees, court hearing, anything as an event, that is showing up here. But other than that, any upcoming to do comes in from your calendar. And when I was talking about recently modified contacts, I told you that you could go into a matter right from the contact by simply clicking on, first of all, let's look at the contact card. Let's see what is it that they have given me. Is this an active matter? Yes, completely yes. Is this a fully invoiced matter? Yes, it has been fully invoiced. We did have the total invoice amount, total funds received, funds withdrawn so far into the trust. And any pending trust transfer? No, nothing yet. So the status has been very, very clear here. And if you would like to go into that, look at the matter analytics, it's right over here. And adding to it, you can also reprint an invoice to see what is it that I raised for $1,510.27. You can actually download it, reprint it, download it, and view it from the outside, which is in your dashboard, instead of going into the matter and digging into it and trying to go in the usual method that you might probably be doing. So that's about recently modified contacts. And recently modified matters is something that you would want to definitely look into to see what have you recorded in that matter in the last few weeks or few months or few days. It shows you very clearly when it was created. This is like I had created this morning, and this was created this morning too, and maybe this was yesterday. So you have date-wise here. When did you last modify it? So that's when you have last used this file. So you could probably go into that file right from there. You don't have to even go into a matter, look up for a client, type saying Kubain, and then go into the matter. Rather, I would just go in the dashboard, and then I would be looking at a file, and then I will just simply click on that matter and then get into it. So it saves you time, and it's also going to save you a lot of energy looking for the client name, etc. And then besides that, you would also be able to do a very important thing under what are the matters or files for which I have so far raised and invoices has not been raised. So you will just go into invoice pending matters. You would click on invoices right beside that, and then you would be able to see what is it that I have not raised an invoice for. Just simply have to do a pre-bill, like do a preview. Okay, this is a client for whom I haven't raised invoice in the last 30 days or 40 days, maybe 30 to 45 days. Look at it. Okay, there's a meeting that I probably conducted. There's a correspondence that I did. And there's also a flat rate for the legal fees, as in a legal fee flat rate for the court hearing that I did. So there's overall this much outstanding from the client, which I have not billed yet and sent to them. So to it, go back into the matter, just simply raise the pre-bill, see whether you are ready to send them an invoice and get it done. So much to do from the dashboard, and I would say try to make the best use of shortcuts that's available for you rather than going into contacts, then going into matters and doing the rest of it. It's end of it, the result is the same, but how fast you get the result and how accurate you're able to get to the point is definitely, important here to note. Now, besides that, we had contacts. We were talking about creating other groups and using the client portal, as well as generating documents like client fee book. Have you all used client fee book so far? If not, I would say it's very important to go and click on document generation of that specific client. So let's say Katrina Cave is one of my clients, and I'd like to see what she owes me on today's date. So instead of, clicking on contact, clicking under Katrina Cave's matter, and then going into her file to see what is the projected balance to learn whether it's zero or not. Right then, when you are in contacts, just click on document generation and client fee book and understand what is it that you have, billed her so far. What is that she is paid? Is there any balance owed to you? So now it's not necessary that every time you have to download a report, right? You can also see the report. Just go into document generation, see client fee book, and just say show only. So it's also going to show you the same information, but where it says there's an invoice is pending. So why is there an invoice pending? But I just downloaded a client fee book and it says no balance outstanding. Balance outstanding is for the invoice you have raised, but invoice pending is something that you have not raised yet. So go into matter events and you will be able to see that if there's any disbursements, if there's any payments, if there's anything that's not transferred from trust to general, you will be able to see that under the invoice pending or in pending trust transfer, etc. So contacts, not only for adding new clients, but also create a group, like click on add new contact. By default, you would see about 8 to 10 groups here. But besides that, there will be the other groups that you see here could be like, let's say, joint retainer or an insurance company. Maybe if you're a SABS, if you're an accident benefit claim lawyer, SABS, and then let's say insurance company is one of your additional parties in every file. Then you can add the new contact under, let's say, it could be CA, it could be Manulife, it could be anybody that the insurance company that you're trying to add. So you would have to make sure that, the contact is added under the respective group. In order to create the group, like I said, there would be by default, maybe from clients to applicants or respondents. And anything that you see below that is something I would have created, or my clients or some uLaw users would have created. And all of those are seen here under the fictitious account that I'm holding. And if you want to create a new group of your own that you might need to access, let's say I'm trying to create something like notary services for, I would like to maintain all the clients who come to me for notary services, because I'm not opening a new file for them each time, but at least I would like to have their contacts for various purposes. You can always add a new group and get the new group added here and add the contact under the group. So contact, you could use it for adding a new contact under the various groups that's creating, adding a new client, which we all know, and adding a new group, like I said, bringing the contact under the respective group. You can also delete the group if you're not using it anymore. You thought you would use it and added it, but you're not using it anymore. You could always delete it and rename it if you want it to something else that you're currently planning to open. But remember, you cannot delete the default groups that uLaw has created, like clients, ghost clients, maybe friends, coworkers, vendors, up to like probably, I think, applicants, respondents. They're all your basic default groups that you cannot get rid of. If you're not using it, you can choose to ignore it. But besides that, there's also client portal. Now, recently during COVID times, uLaw has introduced about this client portal. There is a separate webinar on this topic. I think it's next week, if I'm not wrong. Go to our uLaw, info.ulawpractice.com/webinar. You would see all the, upcoming webinars over there. And like I said, next week is Automate Client Intake with uLaw Client Portal, 2 to 3 p.m. Friday, June the 17th. So please do make sure to join in at that time. I'm sure I'll make sure the reminders are sent in earlier. And the week after that, we have a CPD webinar, which is Law Society Bookkeeping Compliance. This is something that I would recommend all of you to attend. And yes, coming back to point, at that time, I would next week talk about Client Portal. And besides that, document generation is something that I would recommend all of you to use for each and every contact that you create, like client fee book, any aging source of contact. There's even very minute information like creating envelopes, label that you can download, include phone and work facts of this client, and everything gets the label gets printed where you can put it on your printer and print it for your filing. So going further down, Quickview is something that I was talking about as the third category of today's topic, unsung heroes. Again, make sure that the file that you're looking for is either in the category of active or, closed, or safer side. I would always recommend people to go in with all matters, because the all matters is going to bring up whether it's active, closed, archived, whatever, even though you don't have to remember the status of the file. And do this way, and you could utilize the free text concept of, okay, one of my files, if you see here, has some LCD number, code file number, or it could have a description like, let's say 6 months rent unpaid. It's a random file. I remember that there are some files like that. You could remember anything about a file, like just go ahead and enter, let's say 6 months rent. And then there are so many files with 6 months rent that's unpaid maybe, or I have that referred somewhere. And then you will be able to pull up the exact file and you can go in from there. So there could be anything that you're looking for, and just make sure to remember the key term and click on that go to matter right from there, and you'll be into the matter immediately. Besides that, I would always recommend my clients to use Quickview for work in progress reports. So this is definitely very helpful, like we already discussed. It shows you this is, okay, as on a date range, let's say monthly, I wanted to start off with saying to this 1st of June till now, what has been some work in progress? Is there something that's unbilled, any hours that's been unbilled, any flat fee that's been unbilled? You can see everything over here, okay? So this is one of the files where 1 hour, 10 minutes for this file is not unbilled for Joshua McKin. So make sure to go to Joshua McKin's file and, try to bill that hour or rate. And what about this one? This one has neither any unbilled hours, not any unbilled flat rate. But why is it there in my work in progress? That's because this one has, Aditya Manohar has $475 sitting in trust. Maybe you haven't taken any action about it. Maybe you will have to just go into Aditya Manohar and try to see whether you need to raise an invoice, or you need to probably refund the client, or you need to do whatever it is. So click on question mark. It gives you analytics. It tells you that you have 1,500 deposited in trust, but you have only utilized 1,025. There's a $475. If you're done with the work, just go to trust, withdraw from trust, and give them a refund. So that is the level of, so it automatically comes up to $475 because that's the pending thing. And then you can just quickly enter the check number and let's say refund retainer for this client because I'm done with the work. And you can also print check from uLaw. That's another additional thing, but I don't want to go too much into the topic, but there are ways to do that. Maybe in the next session, I will talk about upcoming sessions. We can talk about that. But coming back to point, there's no more balance here. But now if you go back to Quickview and try to download the same work in progress report again for, let's say, monthly, and then download, this time you shouldn't be seeing that $475 there. You see, it's all gone. So between this report that I downloaded to this report I downloaded now, that $475 is no more there. So this work in progress is such a boon, helps you to make sure that your files are aligned in the order it needs to be in terms of whether should I have to raise an invoice now, should I have to transfer the money from trust to general now, or should I have to refund the retainer as I just did now. So you take a call depending upon the work in progress at that point in time. So that's a quick view for you. And there's one more thing that I would, there's of course invoice pending that you can see from either Quickview, or you can also see the invoice pending that hasn't been raised or that hasn't been paid yet. It very clearly tells you these are the clients for whom you have pending invoices, you haven't received funds, or the client owes you some money. You can also access the same report from accounts, where you would see invoices pending, invoice balance reports, etc. from accounts as well. So going back into Quickview, there's one last thing that I would like to mention under Quickview is there is bulk closure action. If at all you have, let's say, worked on 20, 30 files in the last 2 months, and it's all done, but you have for some reason not closed them, you can take bulk closure action for that specific period. Let's say close all the files from April 1st to May 1st and have only May 31st and have only my files open from 1st of June till date. So then close matters in bulk. It will go into the respective matters for that created during that period and close the entire matter for you. So this is close matters in bulk is definitely helpful if you're a person who hasn't worked on closing files regularly. Other than that, I would say Quickview is definitely helpful for you to get into any file with their matter analytics just upfront. Okay. Now, lastly, we're talking about calendar, where I was showing you the timesheet. I was talking to you about the timesheet reports that can be printed, and different color codes that you see in front of you. One has pink. Maybe this is for my this is something in regards to my assistant docketing, or this could be anything in regards to my lawyer 2 docketing, or this could be anything to do, in regards to my A2. So you see very clearly here it says billable time A2, which is in yellow, and here it says billable time, which is U. It doesn't specify A2 or A1 or lawyer 1 who. So it is in blue. So everything that is in blue is U. There is the color code that I have already specified here under calendar filter, and you have under settings, you have said that the calendar color code is going to be pink and blue and, family pink, bamboo blue. So basically bold turquoise. So A2 is maple bliss, which is yellow. And if you go into the calendar and you see that the yellow here is A2. So try to maximize the options that you have there to differentiate between various features that's available here to improvise your practice within the firm, because not always maintaining a client management or keep maintaining the accounts or the books is going to only help you improvise on your practice, but also keeping a tab on these hidden gems that we were discussing in the last 45-50 minutes is definitely going to be helpful. So one thing I would also like to show you here is the timesheets that we were talking about. Oh, before I get into timesheets, one more thing is Scratchpad. Like I said, I can keep adding on one more thing every other minute, but definitely these are so helpful for you. Try to make best use of it. So the Scratchpad for daily dockets, I'll tell you what it works or how it helps. So let's say you're working on 5 different files, and you probably want to add a docket into every file. Or let's say you are on call with one client, and then you're drafting for another client, and then you're researching for another client. You're doing everything in the next 1 hour. You don't have to go into each matter to record it. Rather, use the Scratchpad for daily dockets and record. Once you're done with the client call, you click on the docket and tell us which is the client you want to add it into. So let's say take action and add new event, and it shows up very clearly that since the last matter I worked on was Aditya Manohar, let's save it there. But before that, I don't want to always give legal research. Let's say this was something to do with correspondence, and 6 minutes, you did a phone call and save it. That's it. And let's say the next one to do was something like let's say a legal research or a drafting. So you will say that it was something to do with application drafting. So take action, add new event, and let's say for this you're actually spending close to 1 hour. So let's docket it for 1 hour. The same 1 hour billable time is also 1 hour. And again, same Aditya Manohar or any other client, we can add it to any client, and then their respective matter is going to populate and you save it under that. So that is the importance or significance of Scratchpad. You can, once you're done, you can clear all the daily dockets and discard all dockets entered so far. So once you go into the matter, you will still be able to see them there because this is only a scratch pad. Like, for example, if I go into Aditya Manohar, the last one that I just entered was a 6-minute client meeting or a correspondence, the 6 minutes correspondence that I would have entered, so which is still there. So likewise, try to maximize the calendar settings by syncing your calendar, color coding your calendar, ensuring that your calendar filter has, if you have multi-users, ensuring that everyone can see each other's calendar. Let's say lawyer 1, lawyer 2, assistant 1, assistant 2. The toggle should be ensuring that everyone can see, or if you don't want assistant 2 or 3 to see, make sure that you close it or you turn it off. So that way, they don't get to see what your calendar has. And last of all, which is important, is to have if you're a multi-user firm again, you have the revenue by employee, right from a docket range to revenue by employee to invoice date range. And whether you just want a timesheet for every employee for that specific month. Let's say it was for the previous month. So let's say for the 1st of May to 31st of May. Show the descriptions or just the client summary or however you want it. Just download it or only show whatever that you prefer. But these timesheets or revenue reports that gets generated from your your calendar are very, very important if you are a multi-user firm, because you get to see what was the work done by Lisa as an employee, Mark John as an assistant, Mike as a coworker, and also the total that revenue that they've generated from the revenue timesheets, which was right before the timesheet that we are seeing now. So coming back, Action has pretty much quite a lot of documents that can generate apart from just recording your time dockets or your upcoming to-dos. So try to maximize the calendar with all that we've discussed in the last 10 minutes. And I think we are on top of the hour. I just want to make sure that I've conveyed as much as possible the hidden gems of uLaw. I do know that we have quite a lot of these features like code forms, reconciliations, bank connect, client portal, there's whatnot. You have typically everything that you as a legal practitioner needs to have in a practice management, combining your client matter management and accounting. But end of the day, it's not only just that, but it is also ease in working with the program. And these are some hidden gems in regards to giving discounts. What is it about providing discount? Why do we have write-off? Can you just give me one quick example of it? So when people come to me and say, I'd be like, Gayatri, should I do a discount now or is it a write-off? What is it that you're looking? I'll be like, okay, the client owes you $20, $25. Are they going to pay you? No. You know what? Then in that case, I would say write it off. And then are you going to give them a discount? Then you want to show it on the invoice? I would say yes. Then go ahead and add a discount to the invoice and give the $28, $25 as a discount. So the key term to note here is the taxes. So when you're discounting, it's the taxes aren't recorded appropriately, but when you're writing it off, the taxes that you owe to the government are also going to be written off because it's a bad debt. There are several things like this that are more hidden. I would just say 1 hour is definitely not enough for us to discuss, but I'll try to bring in more new examples as we probably go into different times. Maybe we will have the same topic coming up in another 3 months, but I will try to ensure to bring in new subtopics of this unsung heroes and try to chat more about it. And if you all have any suggestions in the meantime, right, Gayatri, I would like to know, uLaw, can you please show me this on a webinar like Unsung Heroes? Maybe it will be helpful for a lot of us. And your suggestions are welcome. Please do send us emails. Let us know what is it that you'd like to see. We can always improvise our webinars, bring more new topics and talk about it. But besides that, if you have anything to chat about today's topic, I can extend for another couple of minutes. I do know everyone's time is very precious, and apologize once again for the delay in start of today's webinar. Next week, we will have the webinar invites and reminders sent out much earlier. So 2 to 3 p.m., we're going to have a webinar on Client Portal. Do attend it. It's very helpful. You can take a look at how Client Portal works within the program. And lastly, if there are any questions from today's session, I will be here for next 2 minutes, and I request you to send me a chat here. But thank you all for attending. I will have some links put out here on the box chat window. I request you all to make a use of it. Try to subscribe to our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and there are a lot of tips being shared there, a lot of videos being shared. And if you have friends who are looking to use a program like uLaw, do recommend us to them. Try to tell them that there is this program that I'm using and I've been doing wonders with it. Let them know, and we'll be happy to, like I said, grow the community better and bigger, most importantly. And I'm giving you a little bit more details about the refer a friend here on the chat window. Please copy this links if you can, and try to refer a few friends to us. And last but not least, whenever you have any questions, queries, email us on support@uLawPractice.com. Okay, so I think it's exactly an hour since we started the webinar. I thank each one of you for joining the webinar today. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye. And the recording will be on our YouTube channel by, I think, latest Monday. Please do refer to it whenever you have any questions. Thank you.